We're all gonna die. In fact, some of you may already be dead on the inside. But since croaking is a given, it's all about making the most out of the time we have, huh? But yeah, that's why this episode of Bitchin' Kitchen is all about bucket list dishes, must-shkoff food, and living life to its fullest. Literally. First up, homemade gnocchi with brown butter, dried apricots, and crispy sage for the main pulled pork sandwiches, smothered in a spicy pineapple barbecue sauce, served with plantains, and for dessert, inverted lemon meringue pie. What is it? You'll find out. The spice agent reports on sage.
And how it's used to ward off evil.
Panos informs us about pork shoulder.
Hail to the king of all meats.
This is Nadia G's Bitchin' Kitchen. Bucket list dishes. Climbing Mount Everest, seeing the majestic pyramids, learning to speak Mandarin. All these things are primo bucket list items for nerds. Not me. Yeah, okay, climb Mount Everest. Not niches. I like to keep my bucket list simple, like try not to cry today. Or invent a new way to end a stinking email. I'm so sick of cheers or best or regards. Me, regards is the worst. Whenever I see regards, I just want to be like, screw you too, okay? We both know we hate each other, so we're gonna start by making some homemade gnocchi. Shkoff 4 russets onto a baking sheet with the skin on, and we're gonna pop them in a 400-degree oven for 1.5 hours. What this does is sucks the water out of the potatoes, so you end up with a lighter gnocchi. If you prefer a denser gnocchi, well, then we can never be friends. Here I got 4 baked potatoes that have cooled a bit, just so you can touch them. What you want to do is cut them in half and scoop out the potato flesh. Now rice the potatoes. If you don't have a ricer, you could use a potato masher. If you don't have a masher, then you could add it to your bucket list. Yeah, doesn't have to be always fancy, a bucket list, eh? Now throw in 1 beaten egg, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, half a cup of finely grated Parmigiano, a big pinch of fine sea salt, and some freshly cracked pepper. We're gonna mix this up for about a minute until it's got a nice smooth consistency, no lumps. Now flour a surface and roll the dough into strips. Cut into 1-inch pieces. Whoop. These gnocchi are gonna be spack. If you've never had homemade gnocchi, please put it on your bucket list immediately. As for my bucket list, well, I'm kind of shy to admit this, but I've always wanted to do impressions, you know, like get up on stage and imitate celebrities. I'm a bit, all right, I guess this is as good a time as any. Nicolas Cage, okay? I'm gonna do Nicolas Cage, all right? Crazy, right? I mean, it just goes to show, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. When we get back, we're gonna shkoff these gnocchi, so stay hungry. You wanna see me do Lil' Kim?
No.
Maybe I gotta pull them up a bit. Welcome back to Bucket List Dishes, where we're cooking up must-shkoff food. But we're also yapping about fulfilling life goals. And I'm proud to say that I recently accomplished one of mine, an album. 'Cause I love music and singing.
Experience Nadia G as you've never heard her before with such classics as
I get mad at old people when they walk slow, but then I feel guilty. Bang, bang, why did you eat all the cheese? I said, I'm sad you're gone, but at least I don't have to shave my legs every day.
Order now.
Woo! Let's finish these gnocchi. What we're gonna do is boil them in some salted water for about a minute or until they start to float. All right. Now we're gonna make our brown butter sauce with dried apricot and crispy sage. Melt half a cup of unsalted butter on medium-high for about 1-2 minutes until it starts to get foamy. Now add 12 julienne dried apricots and 12 fresh sage leaves, also julienne. Now we're gonna cook this for a few more minutes until the butter starts to go brown, then take it off the heat. Oh, this smells so good, nice and nutty. We'll throw our gnocchi in. While I finish this, here's the spice agent with his sage report.
Thank you, Nadia. Sage has a long history of medicinal and culinary use, and in modern times, as an ornamental garden plant. It's been grown for centuries in the old world for its healing properties. You know, Nadia, at one time or another, every spice has been used to heal something. That's why having a PhD in spiceology is kind of like being a doctor, but without the pager. Look, it's not like anybody's gonna call me at 3 in the morning saying, hey, Yecheskel, should I use cumin for my athlete's foot? And although it would be nice, I wouldn't use cumin. I would use rosemary for the itchiness. You know, sage has been used since ancient times for different things, like warding off evil, snake bites, even increasing women's fertility. Look, Nadia, if it was up to me, I would use sage in everything, because it's good tasting, it's beautiful, and if the rumors are true, imagine a world with no more evil.
Thanks,
Yecheskel Mizrahi.
Let's plate this dish. Grab a bunch of these gnocchi. Make sure you get a lot of crispy sage, these apricots. Top it off with some freshly grated parmigiano and must-shkoff. The delicate light gnocchi. You get that nutty flavor from our brown butter. And these apricots, they're sweet and tangy. We've got our sage. Well, I'm telling you, if eating this was the last thing I had to do before I died, I'd be very unsatisfied. I mean, I at least want to record a second album. Come on. Next up, pulled pork sandwiches slathered in a sweet and spicy pineapple vinegar sauce. There are no words worthy of describing how good this is, so shh. We'll just do it. Marinade first. In a bowl, add 1/8 cup of cracked black pepper, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of smoked paprika, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of dried mustard, and 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. This dry marinade is gonna be pretty spicy, so if you're sensitive to heat, I suggest you grow a pair. Mix it up. Here I got 3 pounds of boneless pork shoulder. What we're gonna do is scaff it in a resealable bag, pour in half our dry marinade, seal it up, and really massage that meat so the rub gets in there. Now, we're gonna refrigerate it overnight, or better yet, 24 hours. But at least I don't have to shave my legs every day. When we get back, we're gonna finish these pulled pork sliders and attack them with our face holes. Stay bitchin'. And we're back with bucket list dishes. Seems like everyone has an opinion about what you need to do in your lifetime, and it's never something simple and fun like eat corn dogs till you pass out. It's always something boring and complicated like run a marathon. Well, if I hate the treadmill, why would I suddenly want to run a marathon? That's like being tone deaf and wanting to record an album. Oh, I know you saw my message on Facebook. 'Cause you say you saw my message on Facebook. I love you fried Brussels sprouts with the vinegar. I'm gonna steal that recipe.
If you order in the next 10 minutes, we'll throw in not one, but 2 free copies of Nadia G's Angry Punk Christmas.
You stop big sucks! You stop big sucks!
In fact, you can have as many copies as you like.
Our pork shoulder has been marinating for 24 hours. What we're gonna do is massage the rest of our dry marinade onto the pork. Now we're gonna wrap this baby tightly in foil. This way it steams while it roasts and becomes extra juicy. And pop it into a 270-degree oven for 7 or 8 hours until you just look at it and it falls apart, like me on Monday. Here's Panos with more on pulled pork.
Bro, pulled pork is the king of all meats. And I'm not talking some fancy king wearing white tights and a powdered wig, prancing around saying, "Hey, look at me! I am the king I am!" Pulled pork is a real king, bro. A bearded Poseidon who speaks only in manly grunts. His shimmering fishtail inspiring fear in the masses of men.
Panos, focus!
Oh, excuse me, madam. There's no time for justice in your court. Fine. When making pulled pork at home, I recommend the pork shoulder, aka Boston butt. You want to cook this baby in the oven low and slow. This way all the connective tissues melts and it's falling apart, all succulent. Then you take your fork, like the great spear of Poseidon, and you stop.
All right, thank you, Panos. It's time to make our vinegar sauce. In a bowl, add 3/4 of a cup of ketchup, 3/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar, 1/2 cup of maple syrup, teaspoon of Dijon, teaspoon of cayenne pepper for kick, teaspoon of fine sea salt, and 1/2 cup of fresh minced pineapple. You could also use the canned stuff. Mix it up. Let's get our pork out the oven. Wow, this smells so good. Now we're gonna shred this pork with a fork. Let's plate this dish. Now grab a nice portion of the good stuff. Add a few tablespoons of our vinegar sauce and mix it up. Here I got a gorgeous toasted brioche bun. You can use any bun you like. Pile the meat high. Serve with a couple of plantain chips. And bon appetit to me. Ooh, this is so good. You got this amazing brioche bun, our juicy, tender pork meat, lots of tang from the vinegar sauce, little pops of sweetness from the pineapple. I'd comment on the plantain, but life's too short. After a quick break, we're gonna get started on our pièce de résistance, an inverted lemon meringue pie. What is it? Stay tuned to find out. Better be nice to me, I'll get a job on one of them cop shows. You saw that? When it comes to living life to its fullest, lots of people turn to inspirational sayings. Now you know what I'm talking about. All your depressed friends sharing these quotes to pretend they're happy. Now I don't have a problem with people needing inspirational sayings once in a while. What I have a problem with is all these sayings are somehow written by Albert Einstein. Einstein was a nerdy dude. Now if you see a quote that says, "Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics, I can assure you that mine are still greater." Sold. But I see these quotes like, my heart is not a playground, so go play somewhere else. Because the bigger the storm, the bigger the rainbow. And you'll only appreciate my colors once I'm gone, Justin. And then it's too late, Justin. Albert Einstein. What? We're moving on to dessert. Inverted lemon meringue pie. Basically, we're gonna make a meringue shell and stuff it full of zesty, creamy lemon custard. Because let's face it, life's too short for crust. For the meringues, grab 8 egg whites, throw in 2 teaspoons of white vinegar and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. We'll beat this until it gets foamy. Now slowly stream in 1 cup of sugar and beat it until you get stiff peaks, meringues. Now, you want to grease a baking dish with butter and make sure you completely gesprink it with flour. You see how that's totally covered? Good. And shape this meringue into an even crust layer. Remember to bring it up the sides. And bake this at 275 for 2.5 hours. Yeah, 2.5 hours. It's bucket list dishes, man. It's gonna cost you, because time is money. And you're gonna pay. Big, you're gonna pay. Once it's done, turn off the heat and let it sit there for another half an hour. Stay. Well, that's it. Let's yap about things that don't need to be on your bucket list. Number 3, having kids. Sure, it changes you and makes your life not all about you all the time. But the problem is, it changes you and makes your life not all about you all the time. Okay. Number 2, getting into the Guinness Book of World Records. Because this ever happens after all your efforts. Oh my, you're the guy who ate 3,056 hard-boiled eggs, aren't you? Well, I think we should find a more private place. Number 1, make out with a celebrity like Ewan McGregor or Tom Hardy. Get in line. Now we're gonna make our lemon curd filling. Here I got 8 egg yolks. We're gonna add a cup of sugar, 2/3 of a cup of fresh lemon juice, and a tablespoon of lemon zest. Mix it up. Pour this into a pot. Turn the heat to medium and stir constantly for 5 to 7 minutes until it's nice and thick and coats your spoon. Now transfer this into another bowl. Cover it with some plastic wrap. You want the plastic wrap to touch the surface of the custard. This way it doesn't form the skins. Let this cool completely. I got some ready to go. Here I got 2 cups of cream. You're gonna add a 1/4 cup of sugar and whip it until it's whipped. Now we'll fold in our lemon curd. You can really smell that lemon. And scaff it into our gorgeous meringue crust. Now you can pop this in the fridge to set or must-shkoff it right away. For me, the choice is clear. Pie, pie, pie. Whoa, I love this crust. It's crisp on the outside, nice and chewy like a good meringue should be. And this lemon custard. So fresh. Using fresh lemons makes all the difference. Good pie. Today on Bitchin' Kitchen, we made 3 dishes that you need to try before you know. As for bucket lists, well, they say life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. And I guess what that means is life sucks a bit because you're like bored, so you're trying to make some fun plans, but then time passes, you get more unattractive, you spend all this money to get to France, there's a big lineup to see the Mona Lisa, and it's actually kind of like really small in person. I don't know, man. Good luck with all that. Alla prossima!